What's up everyone, Speedy here. In this 1v1 video, we're going to be doing 2 live games and 1 replay review. Let's get into it. Okay, here we are in the first game of the video. Go for a soft flip. Here, just try to stay close to the play. Recognize the opponent's in a space that's a bit difficult. That's an unfortunate bump. I honestly am not sure how to use Supersonic there. He just got Supersonic. That makes sense. And he gets the boost. Okay, he's to the side of me. That's really annoying. That boost should spawn. It's not going to be a great shot, but I was busy turning. Movement feels a little weird this game for some reason. Here, get a control touch. Stay close to the play, but also be careful for the bump. They seem to be playing like a kind of a bump forward playstyle, which I don't mind. Just have to kind of be careful of that. Yeah, that's annoying. I didn't read the fake there in time. I guess that's how they're gonna play. Good to know. Wrong flip direction. Probably should have flipped left, I think. I think I flipped the right there, if I'm not mistaken. That was a left flip, but it skimmed. Okay. Nice. Get one back. I decided not to go for that corner boost. I had a feeling I could actually like get a goal there, so it was better that I kind of stay committed to the position. This one is no real shootable angle. Let's wait for him to kind of come up here. Gonna go for that boost. Close the space. Nice. Start returning the favor on the bumps that he's been getting. Okay. Nice early chow that. Can't really commit here. I can turn. Not a great bump attempt. Tried to get him awkward there. That's really annoying. I missed that boost. If I didn't miss that boost, that would have been a much better shot on target. Nice. That was a good play. He was a bit too spaced there, and he just didn't challenge. So because of that, just you basically want to keep the ball close to you. I just kind of keep playing around with that. Dude. I honestly mentally thought he was going to be faking there, so I saw his name kind of just come up slow. He's doing like a weird Like, he's not even flipping or anything, he's just doing like a slow wave dash. That's why it's also tripping me up mentally. Oh, good though. It's a good fake. Bad chow. You don't want to be free flipping there. Defensively, if you pre-flip there, it makes it a lot easier for me to know like when to pop it, because if I keep the ball close, I'm just not going to shoot right away. Any delays. A lot of kickoff shenanigans this game. I guess another goal. Dude, what? Damn, I'm brain dead this game. What the fuck? Damn. That doesn't bump. Fair enough. Oh, we could take time. That's why. If you're defending in that position, you really don't want to like try to rush the play like that and jump too high, because all I have to do is just do what I did there. Just stay grounded and wait for the 50. All those bump plays, it backfired on you. GG. Okay, here we are in game number 2. Just played a pretty crappy loss that is going to be a perfect game for us to use in the replay. Can't commit here. And that doesn't bump him, I guess. Okay. Also doesn't bump him. Okay. Okay. I guess, just not meant to be, I guess. That doesn't do anything to him. Okay. Nice try. What a 50, dude. That was a perfect 50. Wanted to force him into a bad 50, and that actually worked correctly in my favor. So that doesn't really do anything. It just pushes this ball up for me. Oh, Evo flick, let's go. That's so sick. Let's go. Nice. When you know your opponent's low boost like that, you could tell like he was low boost for two reasons. One, he was in a position that was super awkward, and two, he had to get that pad to turn around. Once he got that pad on the side and he was really far to the right, that's a perfect opening to shoot from the left. That's a poor kickoff. Pick up the wall here. I love the fact that he fucks up the play so badly that it works. Like, he did not mean to do that. He was so out of position and it just works. That's funny. Don't have to flip anymore. We'll stay grounded here. Nice. Opponent was just spacing the play too much, and it was enough like for me to be able to read the play. Like, you see how he's turned away from the play? Because he's turned away from the play for that moment, that puts me in a position where I can turn, and he has to face the opposite direction to be able to chow. Good game. Okay, here we are in the replay portion of the video. First things first is the theme in this particular replay is my kickoffs were bad. I had side flipped a lot. I was pulling way too much on the side. Instead of being more direct with the speed flip, I was side flipping a lot, so I was losing almost every kickoff. And it definitely translated to a pretty rough loss. Especially a couple moments that I honestly got myself scored on. Fortunately, placed myself in a bad spot for that bump. There, I could have gotten scored on there, just if he was a tiny bit earlier. Here, just be patient. Let the ball bounce. Here, just being careful for the bump. If he positioned a bit differently, could have gone for the bump there. This is a bad flip. Don't do this. When you're in a position like this, honestly, your best bet, turn around, like so, go around, and then face the play in line with the direction of where the bounce is heading to. Don't try to do this where you're essentially kind of like facing the play and you're kind of awkward like I did. You want to turn around and then be facing in a line. And so then you can scoop it and you could potentially even go for a shot here because there's all this free space here. Opponent's still out of this, like out of the play, and there's time for me to be able to get like a control touch to a shot right afterwards. And that's what leads to a goal. As I was out of position afterwards and get scored on. A lot of bad positioning and a lot of kickoff issues this game. That's a good fake kickoff. I've been practicing those, so I'm glad that practice has been kind of paying off. It's not a bad flick. Do a good job of grabbing that boost. Want to grab this boost and also be careful where the opponent's setting to. Unfortunately, it does get an angle that's pretty dangerous there. Opponent was very much like also doing the same mistake in a lot of cases. Just by staying grounded here, you see how by like them flipping constantly, they didn't do anything productive with the play. I get free ball, I get full boost, and now he has to leave, get boost. And just be patient here. Overall, for a little while, I was actually playing well. If I could have honestly gone for like a bump play. Honestly, I should have done a better job of this. Is like here, once I scooped, I should have really, instead of trying to like commit for like an air dribble play, I should have gone for the bump. Because if I went like here and pointed down more into him, right here, this point here could have crossed over and boom, gotten a demo there. And a demo, that actually would have put the ball into the scoring position. So that right there, that's a first major scoring opportunity I should have scored. This was a big inaccuracy there. So remember, when you're in this position, you really want to try to think about what's high percentage. High percentage in this play means instead of like going for a play that's not really fully committal because you're kind of not sure if it's going to work, point down and go for the bump. I get a bit of a bump, but it's not enough of a bump. It's because I was kind of between two halves of going for the air dribble, going for the bump, and I saw the bump too late. If you're going to go for a play, either commit for the play that you think you're going to go for, or you don't go for it at all. If you have commit there, it creates too many positional inconsistencies like that, and it makes it way easier for your opponent to be able to kind of read into that. Unfortunately, this is just a bad turn. The bump from that play put him in a pretty good spot, and he ended up recovering well for it and gets a free roll. As you'll see in a little bit here, kickoffs definitely were bad. After my second goal, they were definitely bad. That's another bad kickoff. Really what you want to do is you want to be a little bit more central to the play. I'm a little bit too far to the left here, and you can see that based off where I get that third pad. So right here. So if you pay attention to this position, right here, this is the center lane. Right here, this is the center line. So where these pads are, so you can see that. You see I'm like a full car width to the left. So if I were a bit more here, and I went for that play, that play actually would have worked in my favor more, and I would be more to the right. I would be over here, and I'd be able to contest for that pad and then go for that big boost there. But because I was out of position, he gets a position that's more favorable, and it works out for him. Here, it's not a really high percentage play. I understand why I went for it, but don't have to go for that. You can be patient here. This one I remember being a funny play because I remember going for the bump there and it got like the world's slowest goal. That's a pretty good play. Just good awareness, being like ready and aware for the bump as an option. Opponent really wasn't really thinking about that because they were more focused on trying to cover for the shot that was starting to slowly kind of creep towards the net. If you're advanced level as a player, you can go up in the air for this at this point, like right here. So as it's coming up, boom, like that. If instead of half turning, you full turn and you come up like here, take your time, and then as it's coming up, you can get control of it. You can bring it through to the corner. You can get control there. You could also do nothing. It's usually a safer play. Like here, doing nothing was the safe play. Opponent is awkward. This should have resulted in the goal. This is a poor kind of position here because I tried to get a control touch and it was a little awkward. So what you can do here instead is kind of just get a little bit under the ball earlier, and then you can go for a pop-up there if you want. This is actually a pretty good shot. This is good setup here, good positioning, so that went well. But coming up here, some of the mistakes I was making really started to hurt. I grabbed a lead, and then once I got that lead, I made some mistakes that really just costed me the entire game. Because I conceded 3 goals in a row, back to back to back, and just couldn't recover. This is good goal line pressure. Opponent's pretty awkward here. Be really careful. This is not really a good place you want to be challenging here. This play is good until this turn here. You have to remember the opponent's likely going to be low boost. As you can see, of course, they're 0. But full challenge here when they've already got possession of the ball and they're in a position that they can counter with the 50, like a single jump 50, is really dangerous. It's not something you really want to be in the habit of doing. I would say like a better alternative play is a fake here. So for example, ball's kind of moving this direction, be a little further back, and just simply fake turn, and then just shadow the play for a moment. Because the opponent is going to be awkward. Remember, there's 0 boost. They have to make a play, and they have to do something, right? But they don't have that corner boost because I already had taken it. And that whole play became significantly more awkward because of my lack of positional awareness there. I put myself in a really bad spot there. He's kind of going for a lot of bump plays, so it just made him awkward. This is a really good case of patience. What you want to do is just be patient. I knew the opponent was in an awkward spot. I didn't know at the time they were going to be really low boost, but what they did is essentially they tried to kind of go for kind of like a slight hook shot, but by flipping, and they didn't really get good contact at all, and it actually gave me possession for free, and I just made a shot on net from that point. So at this point, I start doing better. I start doing a little bit better. Put myself in a good spot. This kickoff wasn't great. It was not a bad fake, but I don't really get myself into a good spot. It's also pretty awkward. I do get this boost. Good empty jump. Kind of taking time here. This play's good. Opponent's awkward. That's a good play here. And bit of a lucky play. Honestly, the opponent didn't have to make this play. I remember like essentially having the commentary in a moment that this was just a bad play from the opponent. They didn't have to make like such a hard touch off the corner here. Because while I know the reason why is because they wanted to fall it from the corner, like near post essentially, and then be able to boom it out. But at that point, I was already close enough to where I could still make a play. Yeah, this kickoff, it's not bad, but the problem is I'm just a little bit, just a hair too much to the left, and I'm flipping right. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna put the ball a little bit too, like essentially too much of a pinch angle, and it's gonna always, based off the physics of the play, it's always gonna pop it out. And so you may not know exactly which direction it's gonna pop, but you know it's gonna be in this region here, and because of that, that means it's dangerous. And so typically in this case, you just want to be a little bit more to the right here. A lot of this play, a lot of this entire game's loss here started primarily from this miss here. Because if I took time, I did a perfect job. I did everything right here. I faked the opponent, but I rushed the shot. I rushed the shot. The opponent, there was no covering. He flipped out of the way. He was totally, there was no way he could get to it in time. All I had to do was just make an accurate shot. Not a power shot, but an accurate shot. That's all I had to do. Didn't do that and missed. Then here, really poor touch. Missed there. And then even worse mistake. Do not do this mistake. This is a really bad mistake for a number of reasons, because one, it gets me scored on directly. Two, the recovery was recovery left a lot to be desired, I would put it this way. You want to like in a position like this, so going back a little bit, think about using the momentum of like where I am, grab a pad or two, and then just be in line with the play. The opponent's all the way back here. You can be ready for either a challenge, you can also be ready for a better play, but giving the opponent the ball essentially because of this play, but also the momentum of my flip. And this is why flipping is really dangerous in Rocket League. It's very useful, but is also one of the most dangerous mechanics. And most of the time as players, you never really think it's dangerous until you get scored on a billion times because of it. Then you start wondering, what am I doing wrong? It's because you're flipping. It's because you're flipping and you're committing position. You're committing yourself to a movement through that position, and you're also putting yourself in a spot where you can't cover or recover at all. And so at this point, he just gets an easy boom, and he gets a free goal. Next two goals, unfortunate. Gets scored on. He does a good shot. He does a good job shooting here. A better way to cover for this, if the opponent's going to be in a position where they're going for this, it's better if you're really wanting to like prevent him from getting this angle, you can get a contact with the ball here a little bit firmer and then get that corner boost. So you can go essentially like a soft pop up as you're coming down to get that boost. Just be careful about the bump. Another option that's even better is after the kickoff, once you know he's going to get that, just simply grab pad, and then watch for the shot attempt. Because by being able to get this pad and pad, just like that, you're in a position where you can cover. All you have to do is just a quick little power slide cut, if anything at all. You know, basic little just dribble touch, boom. And now you have clean ball. Opponent is overcommitted into the corner here. You have a play that you can work with. Go over the opponent, grab this boost. Now you have free ball and a potential goal. Positioning, in this case, is everything. It's a bad side flip. Because of that, I end up losing that kickoff. Once again, side flip's a really big mistake. He also gets another goal, and I can't recover in time. Again, side flipping is dangerous. This is why side flips are really not something you want to do. If you do them, be aware of the fact that a side flip is in itself a form of delay, because what's happening is it is slower inherently than a speed flip by some margin. It's a decent challenge. It's a tough angle, so I don't mind that I missed that. It's not really the end of the world. It's a pretty tough angle to really get a good shot on, so it's all good. Here, you want to be careful about the commitment there. I understand the desperation touch. It's a bit tricky because the opponent has free space. That should have been a goal there. Really, what you could do instead is here. Instead of getting a flip, because again, you see how, like I was talking about how flipping is a dangerous thing in this position. If I just, instead of getting a flip, did a very, very basic thing right here, and that's just stay grounded, and then power slide cut. Just a little like that. Power slide cut. And you'll see opponent is going this way. Ball could be going this way, and I could have a potential shot right there. If you do a really good power slide cut, that can be a very devastating angle for a shot. So consider those for options. This is really, because of the position after flipping and not getting good contact, puts me in a bad spot, which then means now I'm forced into a bad 50-50 challenge. Puts me out of position here. Again, this should have been a goal here. He missed here, which is unfortunate for him, but these are mistakes that I can guarantee you many of us all together here are making. It's easy in replay review to notice those mistakes. In the moment, you may not notice them, but it is important to recognize that they're happening and that is a normal part of play. That's a tough one. Unfortunately, don't get there in time. This is good. I like this play. It puts it into a safer position. This is good patience. Opponent has to respect the play. He knows he's only up one goal. At this point here, this is too late to go for really any kind of play here. And unfortunately, when I bump him, puts me out of position and awkward, and don't end up doing much with the play. What you could do here are a couple things. As you're coming up here, like here, this little like kind of scoop touch was really poor. It's poor because what happens here after this is it's too passive of a touch. It just lets the ball kind of coast and pop down. And so because of that, what happens is the play becomes like really, really passive at this point. Instead, you want to drive a little more to the right and kind of have it in a position where you can do either a flick and flick it like left, because the opponent's kind of covering this direction, so you can flick it left behind him. You could also go for the patented speedy, the patented speedy backflip flick it over the opponent while the opponent is trying to challenge this way, and now you have a free ball. There's options. Because of this, recognize what your options are in the moment. Try to think just a little ahead. Even if you're visualizing a play 2 to 3 seconds ahead, that's enough. Because that's enough time ahead of what's going to be happening just right up ahead, that it's going to give you time to process what's going on and be just a little bit more prepared than your opponent. So when you're looking at plays, recognize what a good option is. Try to think in the moment when you're going and leading up to a play. Flick option? Nah, that doesn't make sense. Okay, go for this. You know, but start to be deliberate and play with intent. Be faster about the approach of these plays, and you start to find that the better you get at it, the more efficiently you can think ahead, and the faster and faster you'll think ahead, and you'll be able to really start dominating your 50s, dominating your plays, and playing better. If you enjoyed watching this video and learned something, I'd like to ask you to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Speedy Man out.